Sup my dudes, Valk here, and today I'm going to be talking about why I think the Staff of Homa may be the strongest spear for just about anybody whenever it comes out based off math and the math I've done. Whenever I say this, whenever I get into it, I want to make it very, very clear this game is not a competition. Please do not feel that you need to spin for the strongest spear. I want you guys to just relax, enjoy the game at your own pace, but this is just for the people who do spend and who are going to whale out, because the weapon banner coming is going to have Wolf's Gravestone and Staff of Homa on it, which are both very, very good pulls. So if you want a 5-star weapon, I highly recommend summoning on this banner. Normally weapon banner is a trap, but this is a very big exception. If you already have a Wolf's Gravestone, I don't recommend summoning, but I recommend summoning, hitting pity once, and just seeing what you get, because you can't really go wrong whenever you have a 50-50 chance to get something really, really good on either one. It's a win-win. So all that being said, before we get into it, now I'm going to go ahead and get into why I think Staff of Homa basically makes you hit hard as hell, and it's going to be a very, very strong stat stick that's not really conditional, because even if you meet the conditional requirements, it's going to be very strong R1. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So just a little warning, bunch of nerd stuff ahead, bunch of math that I did on my own, and we're going to go ahead and move on. So now we're going to look at all the base stats that Xiao has. We're going to see he has 12.736k HP, which at R1, Staff of Homa gives you 20% extra HP and converts 0.8% of that attack whenever you're above 50%, or 0.8% of that HP into attack whenever you're above 50%. So if we look at how much extra HP it's going to give us 2.5k bonus HP, which will buff me up to about 20k total of HP, help Xiao with a little bit of survivability, which is always nice. And it's going to buff up to about plus 122 attack at the 0.8%. Whenever you hit the 1.8%, because you get the 1% bonus whenever you're below 50% HP, you get up to 275 attack. So the main thing to remember with Staff of Homa is it's going to be a 5-star weapon. It's going to have 5-star weapon stats, but the difference is between it, Skyward Spine, and Primordial Jade Wing Spear, Staff of Homa is going to have a little bit lower base attack with 608 base attack, but it's going to have 66% crit damage as a substat. Now, with it lowering the base attack, it's going to lower it by 66 attack, and it's going to lower it all the way down to 958 base attack, which is probably going to translate to around 2100 attack whenever you get into it. But, like I said, you're going to have the plus 122 attack. That's very, very good, and we're going to be able to have that. You're going to have the plus 122 attack, which is going to even it out against Skyward Spine or Primordial Jade Wing Spear. And the next important thing is the crit damage. So the best way I can simulate the crit damage is if I go to here, if I go to Black Cliff Pole, and I go down to crit rate. You guys can see crit damage, this is only 50%. It's going to add 16% because the subset goes all the way up to 66% crit damage. So I'm going to be around 233 crit damage, 70.5% crit rate. That to me sounds really, really good, especially if you're counting it to about 2300 attack. And then my favorite part about Staff of Homa is you don't need an R5. If you go to R5, let me compare the stats to R5. Like I explained, plus 122 attack, plus 275 attack whenever you're below 50% HP. This is just off the passive, and refining a weapon only increases the passive. So it's going to double about the amount of HP it gives you. It's going to give you about 5k HP at R5, putting it at 22k HP. But whenever it comes to the attack, it's barely going to give you any more. It's going to go from plus 122 attack to plus 203 attack whenever you are at 0.8% or whenever you're above 50% HP. Whenever you drop below 50% HP, it's going to go from plus 275 attack to plus 433 attack. It's going to translate to maybe 800 to 1k more damage for our R5 Staff of Homa. You don't need R5. It's going to be perfectly strong at R1. So now that we covered all that, the next question people want to ask me, what about the energy recharge that Skyward Spine gives you? Well, I did the math and I did the testing, and you're able to get a max ult at my one. If I take off my Skyward Spine, I have around 122 energy recharge. And using Jean and Sound together, I put Sack Sword on Jean. As you can see, I'm able to get ult back within 4 dashes and Jean's R2 twice. And if I go ahead and I use 3 dashes really fast and then I ult before the animo particles can get to me, that's already the majority of my ult back at 122% energy recharge. So it's making Staff of Homa look like a really, really strong weapon for basically any polearm user. It's just a giant stat stick. It has no real requirements to it because, like I said, between the point 0.8 and the 1.8, you get maybe 150 attack bonus. So it's not that big of a deal to worry about, whether you're above or below 50% HP. It's not that big of a deal. It's going to be a very, very, very strong weapon on literally anyone, and I'm definitely going to try to get it so I can test it on Sao and kind of prove my theory crafting here, because everything here is just theory crafting based off what I know, what I've seen, and the math I've done. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about Staff of Homa and all that, leave it in the comment section below. I'll try to answer people as long as, you know, they're not asking about their builds or what team they should run. I have lots of videos covering that, on how to help with builds and everything. It's basically going to be a case-by-case basis because Primordial Jade Wingspear gives you crit rate as a substat, and Primordial Jade Wingspear with crit rate as a substat makes it very good to build around. But if you have a very strong artifacts like I do, if you have a lot of strong artifacts that your build's already good where you have a shit ton of crit rate, then you're going to be able to run the Staff of Homa, which is going to be a very, very strong supplement and just allows your crit damage to skyrocket, and you're not losing that much in attack. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully this helps you guys, you know, really decide on what you want to do, because the weapon banner coming is going to be very, very strong. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys are having a nice day. Catch you all later. Peace.